Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the final episode of the Zeppelin 80s series. I can't believe we're here, and I want to thank you for watching. I also want to thank both my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Your help is greatly appreciated and motivates me to keep going through endless nights of research, script development, voiceover recording, editing, graphic design, sound design, and sorting out copyright issues. That means exporting and uploading the videos, then crossing your fingers waiting to see the green light to monetize the episodes. If I get a red light, it's back to the drawing table to edit and repeat the process. For some of these episodes, I've done this 7 times. It can get tiring, but it's worth. These videos also include content management, scheduling, analytics, and so much more that goes behind the scenes of this one-man team, JCM Studios. I look forward to creating a Zeppelin archive that keeps growing and makes these time capsules valuable content for years to come. You can make your donation via PayPal through the link in the description below. There is no minimum deposit amount, and your contributions make JCM Studios grow towards a full-time video production unit. 2023 is looking good. Last but not least, if you wish to support me via Patreon, you will have access to special on-demand projects like Zeppelin 1990s with all of the bits and pieces from this decade, and the making of physical graffiti from start to finish. So cheers to the mighty Zeppelin, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you.
Of course, I am in the 80s, I have my own career. Yeah, so it was very hard to work with the wedges and stuff, but we know.
I'd like to introduce some friends of mine to you. Welcome Mr. Robert Plant, Mr. Jimmy Page,
This is Robert Townsend. I'm backstage, and like I said, we're going to talk to Robert Plant in a minute, but everybody's here. Bob Geldof is standing right here. How are you, sir?
1989, the last year of the 80s, a turning point for the Cold War, and for mainstream rock music, a year of excess, self-indulgence, and parody for some, with grunge around the corner to bring the exodus upon hair and glam metal bands. If 80s hard rock was the son of Led Zeppelin, grunge was their grandchild, refusing to embrace the digital hairspray overproduced vibes of their parents. Grunge was in favor of the sounds of late 60s, early 70s rock and roll. A third generation of bands showed appreciation for the real sound of organic riffing, acoustic guitars and drum sets. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Led Zeppelin, vintage clothing, a sort of hippie revival with new ideals and hopes for the lost generation past 80s consumerism and glossy, shiny, empty promises. All this being said, 1989 was the breaking point for corporate rock and photocopy bands. The tides were turning. Classic rock became a thing. It's no wonder Robert Plant went from Manic Nirvana to one of his best records, Fate of Nations, in the middle of the grunge explosion. The timing was perfect, and he could only thank his grandchildren for setting their parents straight. No more processed guitars, nor gated reverb on the drums. John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant did not tour nor release solo albums in 1989. At first, it seemed like a quiet year in the Led Zeppelin universe, but it saw the legacy of the band find its way through albums and mainstream media, in what seems a preparation for the almighty year of 1990, a pivotal year for Zeppelin product.
degrees of heavy metal, you see. Real heavy thrash, all going for it, you know, like a Motorhead type of stuff, you know. But then it sort of comes down to, you know, the more the sort of corporate. I mean, the main thing that I like in the midway of all of that is just the total energy. And I mean, I think that's why it's still so popular.
Hi, my name's Jason Bonham and welcome. Today I'm going to cover many of the things that grow to create my own style, such as my equipment, some technique, some drum fill ideas, and of course the influences that helped me along to where I am today.
Jason Bonham's band, Bonham, recorded their debut album, The Disregard of Timekeeping. While the title is not the greatest compliment a drummer can get, Jason's playing rocks hard, working with the songs with no overplaying, nor lead drummer syndrome. The rest of the band is comprised of Daniel McMaster on lead vocals and keyboards, Ian Hatton on guitar, John Smithson on bass, violin and backing vocals. The material was produced by Bob Ezrin, who had previously worked with Alice Cooper, Pink Floyd and Kiss. The album was released on July 6, 1989. It features Trevor Rabin from Yes, playing bass on Bringing Me Down and Holding On Forever. He also sang backing vocals on Don't Walk Away. The artwork was designed by Mike Dowd, who worked on Physical Graffiti and Breakfast in America. It seems to me this is a small nod or tribute to Into the Outdoor, from the bar scene to the color scheme applied on just the characters against the black and white background. There's also a reference to Robert Plant's Big Lug video, and the red hydrant is an extension of Pictures at 11. Musically speaking, there is an obvious Led Zeppelin influence, and this could be judged as another Kingdom Come style band, but does deliver a sense of balance that makes this a far more honest approach. The arrangements and orchestration seem like a respectful tribute to their heroes while embracing 1989 in full. I find it strange Jason got some backlash for this project. I mean, he is a Led Zeppelin fan, and of course there's going to be shades of it. He played the Atlantic Reunion in 1988. He was having fun. And while the album is not perfect nor a Desert Island record, it is a modern sounding natural extension of being the son of John Henry Bonham. I say job well done, Jason. The songs feel like the studio children of Outrider and Now and Zen, with some advice from Uncle Jumple Jones. Despite great drumming and fiery guitar works from Jason and Ian Hatton, the album's main issue is simple. The compositions overall are not strong. Some pre-chorus and main chorus sections seem like an afterthought, and it's a shame because Daniel McMaster had the pipes. I suspect these tracks were written as a group, with everyone's ideas being used without much discussion. With Jason being the famous guy in the band, he was probably surrounded by yes men trying to make it. Can't blame them for that. It's what people do, but it doesn't guarantee good songs in return. The album is very even sounding, which can be tiring for your ears. I recommend putting on some Stan Getz, Gary Burton or classical guitar after listening to this thing top to bottom.
I'll use effects for this. Example, when the levee breaks, once again, drop the stick. When the levee breaks, this is roughly how it goes. That's dry. Now, with the wonders of technology we have now, if we add like a room reverb effect, it'll sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. For instance, In the Air Tonight, we all know that amazing drum fill, the ba-bum, 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 bum, bum.
We're a band called Bonham here, and we're very glad to be here. It looks good to see all you people come out and have a listen. We appreciate it very much.
New Lego Pirates. The fun just keeps building.
Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason takes Manhattan. Now, New York has a new problem.
That meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Headbangers Ball continues as we are now officially on the Magic Bus. We are on our way. First stopover will be in London. Of course, the second stop will be the final destination, which will be Moscow. Jason Bonham, all of a sudden, on the plane.
Yes.
What are you going to be doing over there? I never saw your name on the bill anywhere.
Neither did I. No, it's a surprise. And we're not really sure what we're going to do, so I'll leave it up to the viewers when we actually do it, so they'll probably see it, and it'll be as big a surprise to them as it will be to me on the day.
You got a tape of your brand new album, and
yes, very anxious to play to everybody.
I know.
Adam, how did you like it?
Oh yeah, I think it's great. What is the reaction from the other band members?
Great. I just played it to Tico Torres from Bon Jovi, and it was fantastic, so he really liked it.
Of course, from one drummer to another, you know.
We got the guys from Bonham right here. We got Jason and Daniel.
Hi.
How you doing, guys?
I'm fine.
Now, other than you two, there's other guys in the band.
Unfortunately, yes. There is a guitarist. Yeah, we've been in other bands. I have a band called Air Race and a band called Virginia Wolf, where we toured America with the firm and that.
How did that go?
On a serious note. That was fantastic. That was like led up to the Jimmy Page gig, really.
What was that like? The big Atlantic record show and...
That was a thrill.
I've got to ask you a question. What do you think about some of these bands that are obviously sounding a lot like Led Zeppelin?
What do you think? Actually, I've just heard a rumor today, Kingdom Come and split up.
Oh.
Isn't that tough?
When are we going to see Bonham live?
5th of September, folks. Be there at the Rocket Club. Yeah. We shall rock you. We shall go down so far on you, you're going to love us. Sorry?
Where's the Rocket Club?
Tampa.
Well, thanks a lot for stopping by. Like I said, we got the guys from Bonham.
Townsend lives.
That's my guitar.
Sorry about that.
Thanks.
On August 12th and 13th, East met West at Moscow's Lenin Stadium for the loudest dose of musical détente to date. The concerts also benefited anti-drug programs in both the East and West, principally the Make a Difference Foundation, a drug and alcohol awareness organization co-founded by rock manager Doc McGee.
The message to the youth will be a little bit different than it was 20 years ago for Woodstock. And I'm really proud that they've all taken their time and effort and this support to help the foundation to bring awareness to kids on drug and alcohol abuse.
Doing something like this on the 20th anniversary of Woodstock, you know, who would have ever expected? I mean, I think we're all playing in rock bands saying, oh yeah, well...
I'm not going to bite any Russian bats' heads up or anything. Let's get out and get a good night rock and roll.
Hey, Russia! You ever hear of Led Zeppelin? We got Mr. Jason Bonham on the drums right here. It's been a long time since a rock and roll. Been a long time since a finish show. Let me get back, let me get back, let me get back. Where I come. Come on, Jason. We are saying it's been a long, 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 it's been a
Fresh off his Now and Zen success and a massive tour that included Led Zeppelin numbers, Robert Plant went to the studio to record his fifth solo album in 1989. Without holding back on any rock and roll pastiche or attitude, Plant went all in with the hard rock energy, embracing everything that made his Zeppelin persona and more. Despite the album selling only 700,000 units behind Principle of Moments and Pictures at 11, it elevated Plant's presence in rock and roll as one of the singer's loudest records in years. The fans loved this version of Robert Plant, the one they've been waiting for. This would be his last record in this style. He would soon shift gears and direction, making this hard rock venture the proper card at the right moment, but at the same time, a road that Plant was smart not to revisit past this project.
And I suppose one of the main inspirations was always my father, John Bonham. And I might as well share a little story with you, which is quite amusing. One time he was playing away at a charity convention in England, and he basically, everyone said, "Come on, John, get on the drum kit." He was like giving the kit away for charity reasons, and he got on the drum kit and he started playing, but it was on a wooden floor. So you imagine the drum kit set up there, you know what Spurs are like if they haven't got the rubber stoppers and they slide around everything, and he was sitting there playing away, really getting into it. Everyone was having a great time. All of a sudden, he disappeared because it was in a huge marquee, went straight through the back of the marquee, and everyone just saw him there, and he was lying in a rose bush going, "Could somebody get me out of here, please?" And see, things like that I find are fun. Now, referring back to the opening of this tape, I played some time from a track called "Wait for You." What I'm actually doing in the verse of "Wait for You" after the big chord builds is quite weird, and a lot of people have asked me this, how I got that idea to change it round. Well, basically I was just playing the drums to "Wait for You" one day, and I got sick of playing it boom boom bap boom bap boom boom bap boom bap boom boom bap boom. I want to make it really difficult to dance to. So what I did was, on the big crash on the verse, I hit it on the and of 3, and then it makes it sound like the downbeat because I'm taking the whole thing and moving it by 1/8 note. As you can see there, it really makes it sound fun and interesting, and it's great watching people dance to it in a disco and they start doing this weird movement because it changes them around.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dread Zeppelin.
Play something for me, boys. That's good. It's got that reggae feel like I like, you know it. All right, we're gonna start out with something now that
They say life imitates art, and this band was a clear example. Dread Zeppelin had influences from reggae and Elvis. They existed in the universe of parody and tribute, like a bizarre Honey Drippers band with the attitude of Frank Zappa and the Mothers. Their shock value and music proved to be successful. The band drew inspiration from Led Zeppelin's reggae and funk experiments of 1973, plus their love for Elvis Presley songs that would appear in long medleys in between Hola Love. Dread Zeppelin was like a child of Robert Plant's 80s relationship with Led Zeppelin, poking fun but honoring the past at the same time. This was a sort of stress relief if anyone thought the band took themselves too serious. Personally, I had a hard time getting to this record because it's just weird listening to a parody of Led Zeppelin. Fun fact, Frank Zappa and the Mothers used to call Robert Plant Robert Planet on their live shows. Dread Zeppelin was born from the ashes of American band The Prime Movers. The group was signed to Island Records. After scoring minor success in the UK, the band left the label. Bassist Joseph Jack Ramsey had the idea to make new music. He changed his name to Jopple Joe as a tribute to Jumble Jones. The band did some demos for A&M Records. This laid the groundwork for Dread Zeppelin's first hit, a 45-single parody of Immigrant Song and B-side Hey Hey What Can I Do, released through Birdcage Records. More songs followed with Whole Lotta Love and Your Time Is Gonna Come. These were released on a compilation called Come Give Me Your Zeppelin. A live cassette was issued for Dread Zeppelin fan club members by the name of Live on Blueberry Cheesecake as a small tribute to Led Zeppelin's famous LA Forum 1970 bootleg Live on Blueberry Hill. After selling out multiple runs of singles, Dread Zeppelin's unleaded 10-track album was recorded in 1989 at the Chapel in Encino, California. The studio was owned by Dave Stewart of Eurythmics. The artwork included a fake Monopoly board using Led Zeppelin, reggae music, and Elvis Presley references for the properties and utilities. Robert Plant praised Dread Zeppelin's Heartbreak Hotel cover. According to him, they created a very successful job by adding Led Zeppelin's Heartbreaker into this version of the Elvis Presley classic.
Actually, what's left of him? I was in a chaser competition at the Queen's Head last night, and I won, so I'm a bit... But Merry Christmas to you all. Having a good time? Well, you know that today is a very special day. It's Public Awareness Day for Kidderminster. These people have been working year after year for this charity, and we'd like you all to give happily and well and enjoy yourselves. Here we are, look at this. What a professional. We had one rehearsal before about, how long was it? 25 minutes. So we're going to do our best to entertain you tonight, this afternoon. Thank you very much. Oh, it's not mine. We're going to finish with a song I can't possibly sing today after last night. I'm going to try it. It's an old favourite, it's called Rock and Roll.
"10 years gone, and many moments left behind. The 80s went by, and Plant, Page, and Jones found themselves in the new world of digital intentions. Life happened, and decisions were made, some from within, others by circumstance. Their solo careers, body of work, and concert reunions prove a point. Led Zeppelin was the sum of all parts. The 80s built the foundations for what the next 30 years turned out to be. Page and Plant, Jones on his own, a special event featuring Jimmy Page, Robert Plant's solo career, Page and Zeppelin archives, and one special show with Jason. As I see a fragment of the Berlin Wall, I think about the remains of rock and roll in this changing world of instant gratification and data overload. The past lives in the minds of those willing to honor previous footsteps. In 30 years, everything 80s may be forgotten down to a brief summary. But for now, we have great moments and songs to travel back in time. Nobody will give us Led Zeppelin back. Life goes on in the universe of melancholy and love. Quote Phil Collins. So take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space. And there's nothing left here to remind me. Just the memory of your face. Now take a look at me now, because there's just an empty space. But to wait for you is all I can do, and that's what I've got to face. Take a good look at me now, because I'll be standing here, and you coming back to me is against all odds. It's the chance I've got to take. This was post Led Zeppelin 1981 to 1989. Cheers.
All I wanted to do was make those guys smile.
Sure.
Because to me, a smile from them was as if I was getting it from my dad.